very interested in what you said about on device, bringing things on device. Um, Outside the US, a lot of people work on very rudimentary devices with not that much battery capability. So how is that investment going on? Where you are you investing in that type of model as well, shrinking down the models and making it more battery efficient, processor efficient?
Yeah, so from an AI front perspective, I think we're definitely looking at investments in this space, but I'll say that we're more focused on if we see something interesting in the like at the infrastructure layer, that's interesting. But I think we're much more focused on the application layer in terms of what can be built. We know based off of Andrew's connections in the space that a lot of major companies are working on reducing. So this is going to be feasible with existing models. This is going to be feasible in the next at scale in the next 1 to 2 years. People are working on it. So we have Intel internally that people are working on making these platforms run on existing hardware, both at multiple layers, at the hardware layer, at the software layer, at the model layer, at the tool layer. So not necessarily startups, big companies are working on making this feasible. So this is something that we think will come soon. And I think generative AI, people are especially for B2B applications, people are much more sensitive around privacy. So for example, if you can run it on device where that information doesn't need to go to a OpenAI or an Azure or wherever, you can run it on device. I think there's some consensus that that's a solid use case.
One thing to add to that, just push back a bit. I think we're still a little far away from running, LLM models on your cell phones. I think we're 2-3 years away. The hardware has to catch up first. And when it does happen, I don't think those models perform as good as, OpenAI across several use cases. For what you're going to see are specialized models for specialized use cases. And then an ecosystem that combines all of these specialized models to solve a specific problem. So rather than paying OpenAI, that's a generalized model that has a bunch of answers to a lot of questions, you can use a combination of specialized models to solve the same problem.
All right, so we've got Bola saying 1 to 2 years on existing hardware. And we've got Manny saying 2 to 3 years and the hardware has to catch up. So I'll be doing a betting pool after this. And you can think about which side of the over-under you want to be on. All right, Jing, what you got?
Yeah, actually, I will add more perspective here. Really also depends on what type of model, what is the purpose of the model. Like back to what we talked about, in order to be able to generate content, in particular about image, it takes a lot of parameters that make the model very big. At the same time, if you just focus on can we understand the language, to make this more, for example, like all the input here can turn that into more something that is more user friendly. So that type of task doesn't require a lot of parameters. Yeah, imagine that there are some applications like you can leverage some language models to understand your UI. And that UI can translate that into different menus. So, and then turn to a different option. The output is limited. It's not like unlimited like generation. That we can already do that model like in like one, like it's much smaller. It's like 2 magnitudes smaller than this. So answers here could be, but some of the language model we might be able to do it very easy.
That's a good point. I agree with that.